Sifu Jones, and I'm here with another certified instructor, Don Brown. And what we're going over today is how the students should be starting their energy training and what we're really going to be doing as a school for them, and how we're going to teach different topics that will enlighten them more and more about how energy really does work. And we'll be backing it up with scientific topics that explain different ways of using this particular type of energy. And the energy we're talking about is chi energy that you hear about, or chi power, or any type of prana, any type of huna. When you hear these type of terminologies about this type of bioenergy, then this is what we're talking about. And what we found out about bioenergy, it really is broken down into biophotons. And as you build up this energy that we're going to show you in the video that goes over the nerve fiber building exercise, and what it really is going to do for your body is start building up the electrical part of you. And as you start being able to get more and more energy out of you in the way of biophotons, this is what's going to happen. You build up your nerve fibers, and then you'll be able to put out or project more and more biophotons, and to the point that it will actually lead to pretty high levels. And so today I'm brought on one of our instructors that explains what a biophoton is. And so how are you today there, Don?
Doing fantastic. It just gets better.
Hey, great. So what do you have today to teach the students about what a biophoton is?
We've been doing some research, and Fritz Albert Popp, he is a scientist, and he coined the term biophoton to describe the fact that there's a form of light, the photon, that's emitted by the cells within our body. So each cell emits photons, and photons are light waves. They're a form of electromagnetic energy, and our bodies actually produce light. And one of the things that I found that was very interesting is a quote that I'll read from the Biophotonics Research Institute. It says that the biophoton phenomenon is not confined to thermal radiation in the infrared range. It is well known that biophotons are emitted also in the range from visible light up to the ultraviolet ranges of the electromagnetic spectrum. And that's very important because when we're doing different exercises and we're building our nerve fibers, those are the things that carry electricity through the body. And these biophotons that the cells create are forms of electromagnetic energy, ergo electricity. So the body can create, and actually does create, photons, and these biophotons carry information, they carry memories, they do so many things. And as we learn to build them, produce them, and take them to higher frequencies of energy, we can do much more with them.
Yeah, it's really true. What bioenergy is, in essence, is these biophotons that you just explained, that are actually light, or a type of light, and can fall in anywhere into the light spectrum. And also the waste product, or heat, and it's the two together that actually put out this bioenergy, moves energy around your body. And what we're going to work on with the student is how to build up attributes or change that biophoton, because what we found out about biophotons is they're capable of, a single biophoton is capable of holding up to 40 megabytes of information. And what you can do with this information, what you're going to learn to do is get your body or your mind thinking in this good feeling and cool way that we talk about. And as you learn to do that, it will go right into this projecting energy that you're learning to get off your body. Naturally, it comes off your body. And as you learn to feel the attributes of good feeling and cool into this projected energy, this is really how you're going to see how our training in the school will better way you feel about things around you, to your ability to feel all sorts of things or to get in tune with all your senses goes up dramatically. And we really have found that that's a really effective way of using biophotons, haven't we?
And one of the things that people aren't necessarily aware of is that although everybody produces biophotons, we don't produce them all in the same equal amounts. Some people produce biophotons, maybe a few a second, while others are capable of producing several hundred biophotons per second. And then not only that, we have different ranges of frequencies and different energy levels on different spectrums carry more energy, more information, and as such, the capabilities of doing different things. And so one of the reasons why it's so important, and you made mention of this, keeping the energy cool, is because the higher your energy levels get, see, the more energy and power it has, also is directly associated with that is the amount of heat that comes off of that. And it's very important to be able to keep the heat factor within control so that you have control over the energy, and then you can actually use it as opposed to just being at its mercy.
And the relevance of what you just said is the fact is if you build up high amounts of this energy, because let's say you did way over the amounts that we're talking about for the students, instead of doing the recommended 10 to 20 minutes of that nerve fiber building exercise, let's say they did it for several hours, if they weren't monitoring their heat or learning to get this changeover in them of cooling their body down, they would find out that that would result in pain, in painful overload of doing way too much energy through the nerve fibers at any one time. And that's why we're saying to do it as we tell them to. Work out your plan so that you teach your body to adapt to the exercises a little bit at a time and realize that this has really been broken down in a scientific way so that you get the best side effects from doing it in the way we're talking about. Because like Don's talking about, biophotons will fall along anywhere on the light spectrum. Now, if it's high enough, if it goes up into the ultraviolet range or even into the gamma range, that's instant burn time. You're actually burning yourself from the inside out a lot of times. And a person that has studied this for a long period of time can actually project out really, really hot chi. They have the mind intent to do that. And what we're trying to teach is we're actually teaching a healing school, and we're going to teach how to put out cool energy that will actually heal the student and avoid those side effects or those heat factors that most other people don't avoid, and then they run into all these different problem areas. And you'll find that we're going to have different topics on for the student later on in the school here that go over reasons why you want to avoid the heat, that heat turns out to be the enemy, that as you build up large amounts of heat, you can cause all sorts of problems, and it comes out in a destructive way on your body, i.e. burning pheromones, knocking out your natural killer cells, lowering your immune system capabilities. And we explain this in great detail to the students so that they stay on this right path. They learn the tri-concept, and they start projecting out biophotons in this very yin way that we'll explain to them the difference between a yang way or a yin way. And as the student goes further and further into the topics, they'll learn more and more about energy work, how they're directly building up the nerve fibers of their body, and as a result, they'll be able to put off more and more of these biophotons. And really, by controlling the biophotons, you really do control a lot of space, don't you?
The biophotons aren't just within the body or just immediately outside of the body as an aura, but they actually interact with the other biophotons that other people and other living beings and matter produce. And so we have, I want to say, a shared consciousness. But also because you put out more and you carry more information, you have the ability to have a greater sphere of influence. And so that makes you the controller. Your attitude, your thoughts, the way you feel actually causes other people to feel the same way or the way you would like them to feel. But one of the things that I wanted to piggyback and go back to that's very important, and Sifu Jones, you explained this to me at the beginning of my training, the importance of working the nervous system and building directly with the nerve fibers. It reminds me of the idea of a power grid of a city. We've all seen it in the news. We've all experienced it when there's a lot of demand for electricity, especially in the summertime when it's hot and people are running their air conditioners for hours on end. You experience blackouts because the power drain is so much so that the electrical wiring throughout the city has failure points. That can happen within the body when people push their workouts too hard, too long, and too far. So building it little bit by little bit in a safe and controlled fashion actually gives the body's nervous system a chance to grow, a chance to adapt, and then be able to handle these higher and higher energetic frequencies that we're putting off. As such, the body can kick off more and more biophotons, and as such, you can build more. All of these things are pieces to a puzzle that are built incrementally. And if you follow the plan, follow the methodology, you will actually have a fantastic result as opposed to hurting yourself.
They really will. It really is just as simple as doing this in a moderate way, not going up to the top of the dial every time and really pushing it or trying to feel for all the power that you possibly can right now. If they will actually give us the time that we need in order to train them properly, they'll find that they'll get stronger sensations. But that's how they want to do it, a little bit at a time, because just like you said, all pushing it right now is going to do is overload their nerve fibers. And we know that that usually results in problems in your lower back from your kidneys overloaded, because a lot of times overloading a particular area because you're trying to push this energy around your body or their nerve fibers too much just overloads one area or the other, just like you're talking about on a power grid. And when it gets overloaded, the wire so much, boom, you're going to lose power. And the same thing happens with your body. This is electricity, and really what we're teaching them is this chi, these biophotons, act just like any other electrical magnetic energy does or electricity does. And this is why you have to do it in this specific way. And this is why you learn this tri concept that we talk about. And what biophotons really do mean to the students is going to be explained more and more as they go through each month. But thanks for coming on, Don, today and explaining to the student a little bit more about what they're doing here with the nerve fiber building exercise. By simply tuning into it, they're going to be able to later project more and more of these biophotons. And as they learn how they can change the biophotons around them, they'll learn all these really cool things that lead later on to even extreme abilities. And that's the amazing thing about learning energy work right, isn't it?
You have the ability to change your life, and you have the ability to improve the lives of everyone around you. And that in and of itself is a blessing. So, yeah, this is great.
All right. Have a great day.